Hello and welcome to the Legends of Tabletop podcast, where my mic is always low and it only comes up after I run it through Levelator. So we're going to play runners tonight. We are into our new season. We are into some new mechanics, which potentially we'll see tonight. But before we play tonight, we don't ever like commercial shit in the beginning. Jesse made some t-shirts. I'm happy to be wearing mine right now. They are essentially, fuck you, resistance things. We've got them. I'm going to share a screen here. Let's see. We're going to share that so you can see it. All right. There's the website. Fantastic. So it's TeePublic. It's Legends of Tabletop with underscores between all of the letters. We've got a bunch. It's the same design with a bunch of different stuff going on it. There's Progress, Pride, Flag, Sword, Guillotines, trans flags, and rainbow flags. We are donating all of the proceeds to any potential t-shirt sales, magnets, stickers, whatever, now and forever to LGBTQ TIA causes. There's a local trans youth shelter here, so I'll be throwing some money that way. So if you are interested in the core shirts too, whatever's on the store, we're not making any money on that. It's all going to go to charity. So if you're interested in that, there's links. Well, there's probably not a link in the show note right now, and I'll have to go back and do that. But if you're watching,
just go to TeePublic.
Go to TeePublic, TeePublic/user/Legends of Tabletop. Check that out if you are interested. Yeah, we appreciate it. Money's going to a good causes. If we can,
and make sure that you actually put the underscores with the Legends of Tabletop. Otherwise, you will not find it.
Yeah, I don't think it'll come up if you just search Legends of Tabletop, which is stupid. But
it will not.
It is stupid. Yeah. It should be easier than that, but it's not.
I have to go back and add the link to because I have like show notes, like pre-generated shit with character names and stuff, and I forgot to add it to that. So it will be on there later. So if you're interested, check it out. That's the spiel. I have my shirt on right now. We've made a handful of sales, so that's awesome. We appreciate everybody who's done that. And I'll kick it over to Jesse, and we're gonna play some runners.
All right. So real quick before we get into the recap, I think as I said before, playtest. So stuff's gonna change, and in this case, stuff has changed. Long and short of it, if it comes in, I'll go into a little bit more detail of, what the new mechanic is, but things have changed in terms of, XP development, or mainly the drivers of the characters. Those are now going to be in play as a flat bonus or penalty. But the tapping mechanic for actually gaining XP has changed a little bit, where now when you tap it, it adds an additional effect to the scene, whether it is an edge, a positive, or a snag, a penalty. But character's choice when and how they use those in the scenes. The additional thing that's changed, I believe we already went over armor last time, but in terms of just damage in general, so runners was based off of core in the beginning. So with the way core worked is when you took damage, it directly affected your stats. So if you had a 3 in agility, then you took damage. Now you have a 2 in agility. So instead of rolling 3 dice, you're rolling 2 dice. And it took a while to chip away at a character. So in core, characters were very heroic, in a sense, right? It was very difficult to test a character and make them feel threatened. So we're going to amp that up a little bit. So now there's going to be an injury scale. So after a character's armor, after their suit's armor is all gone, that character will start taking direct hits. One hit you get for free. You're hurt, but nothing really is affected too much. Second and third hit, you will gain minor injuries. Those will actually affect your stats. So if you have a minor injury, it's going to be a negative to that stat, a -1. Then you will gain a major injury on your fourth damage. That is at that point, a -1 to all of your rolls, and then a -2 to that specific roll. And then after that, your fifth hit will be a critical injury. At that point, you're taking a -2 to all your stats, and one stat is at 0. If you end up taking a sixth hit, that's it. You're dead, basically. You've had enough. You've had a lot of chances. You've been hit probably 7 or 8 times at that point. So, I mean, fool me once kind of situation. So yeah, with that being, and then, we'll also go over healing and all that kind of stuff once we get to it. When they get into downtime. But that's it. Those are the kind of the major changes that we've gone through over the last few weeks. And now we're here. So last time, our runners got home to Ingram and realized that they were in a bad spot. So they were basically the Ingram's most wanted list at that point. People were looking for him. Miss Joanna was scared. She was shooting him text, shooting Huck's text. They were able to kind of, kill their comms and their trackers and all that kind of stuff. So they were able to sneak into the base, into the headquarters, without gaining too much attention.
That didn't last.
They thought it didn't last too long. They managed to make it into a room where they could start charging up their suits, and they were able to charge for about 10 or 15 minutes when all of a sudden they heard some commotion in the hallways. Security guards escorted by
Briston.
Oh god, what's his name?
Briston.
Yep. By Briston came up. Briston called you guys out and was like, "Hey, listen, we just give up." Smokey managed to actually talk Briston down and be like, "Hey, dude, give us a chance," and he did. At the same time, Smokey kind of threw some plasticrete and blew up the hallway, collapsing it on the guards, giving them a little bit of a head start. And Briston also was like, "Hey, I can't come out of here without a scratch," and Zuchy basically gave him one to the head, so that he at least looked like he gave up a fight. And you at that point made it back up to the warehouse, and there were a couple of there was a loading robot up there who had kind of like an orange glow to its sensors, and that orange suddenly flipped to a blue, and blue plays kind of a important role in color in color response, and blue is the color of Anne in the Gap. And so Zuchy was able to take down that robot with a few well-placed shots. And then I believe Smokey also kind of used his recently accrued hex abilities to reach out to the signal and realize that it was coming from Brock, who was on his back. He has yet to actually that's all internalized. He hasn't shared that yet, kind of in a rush to get out of there. And you guys booked it for the elevator, went down, and you are now basically hauling it away from Ingram. You're now back in the Gap. Oh, you also had snagged a vacant evasive battery from one of the other pods, because you guys were super low on power. So this it'll give you at least a little bit of a charge up to get wherever you want to go, hopefully. And yeah, so that's where we're at. So you have now blasted your way into the gap. Not entirely sure what direction you guys are heading. So we will figure out now. So guys, what direction are you heading?
Towards under the bridge, I think we determined was the closest place that we were aware of.
The closest one that you guys know of. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess as we're running, Huxley says, "Well, so we're going under the bridge, right? I mean, it's the only one. Like, we know where that one is, and it's not like. I mean, it takes it'll be all day, but I don't know if there's anything else that's close." And he'll, as they're running, kind of like start tapping on his wrist and check the map to see, like, if there's anything that was updated or anything that like they hadn't noticed before, right? Because they've had specific places to go to, so like you wouldn't necessarily have been like, oh, there's a place over there.
Sure, right, yeah.
But and I don't know if he can do that while he's running, or if we have to stop, like if he can like do, because it's like a little hollow thing, right? So if it like,
well, I mean, yeah, but you've probably got like the readout on your wrist too, and so you can. Yeah. It's kind of like jogging while checking your watch, right? Like you can do it. It's not you're not gonna be able to do any complex mathematics, but you can check for information.
Okay. Would that be brains roll? Straight brains?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a brains. As usual with the new thing, DL5.
Okay. So that is a 4, so that's no but. Unless I can tag. What are my snags and edges? I don't have that written down on the sheet.
Oh, you.
Well, it's probably on the old sheet, right?
Your drivers are helper and innocent. So.
I don't think either one of those helps.
And medtech, mechanic, scout, fit. So. No, all right. So yeah. So under the bridge is the closest one to you, that you are aware of. There are you do see a couple other, because remember you do kind of like upload to to the system every once in a while, and so so we'll say when you got into the last time you were in headquarters, like 2 minutes ago, there had been some recent information updated into the mainframe. Okay. However, you're seeing them as like potential spots, but you're not exactly sure what they are. Okay. It could be a pocket, a temporary or smaller safe area. It could be it could be salvage. It could be, even a potential danger area. Like you don't necessarily know what it is. You just have a couple of new points of interest in your system.
Yeah. And that, like, he'll file it away as something like, if we can get someplace safe and connect, to the network, that it might be something he could research to see if, there's more information later. Cool.
All right. So is that where you guys are going then?
No, I assume so.
Absolutely.
Smokey's got a connection there anyway.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll see for how long.
Well, it's not like they can call and tell them we're coming.
Right, exactly. All right, so you guys begin to run east through the area, formerly / currently known as Sabatha. If you recall, this was a somewhat forested, so there's kind of like a larger national park area that you that's now overgrown that you initially had to run through. And then there was the big retail development with the giant mega mall in the middle and all of the various retail buildings and the big kind of town, like city center.
There's like a
And
massive
then,
tower here now instead of
yeah. And then it goes into the river crossing where it goes into more of like office, residential, smaller city type areas. And right on the cusp of that is where Under the Bridge is. Right? Because think of it kind of like the LA River that was sitting, it's a concrete river at this point. And that's what Under the Bridge is a settlement underneath a bridge built where there used to be a river.
thanks global warming.
And so one thing, so we'll go over real quick since we're in a run right now. I'm going to go over one change to the world, right? And the reason is it affects runs and the equipment that you're carrying. So before, in the way before times, the whole game was about radiation, right? And you had to protect yourself from the radiation. When we went into the more AI tech dystopia, right? At that point, the radiation became the signal, but you had to protect yourself from the signal because if it got to you, then Anne could get control of you and all this kind of stuff. Well, I've kind of changed that. So now it's depending on how you look at it, potentially even worse now. So the signal is no longer, something that can get in your brain and eventually control you, right? But the signal is there is still a pervasive signal out there that Anne uses to connect all of the things it controls, right? And just like how, the government can track you with your cell phone, right? They can ping, right? Anne can use the signal to ping things in the gap and figure out what's going on. And one of the things that it attempts to find are more people, because more people means more,
more users.
CPU for her, right? More users, which means more power. So now the damping of your suits lowers the likelihood that you will be discovered by Anne. So as you go through a zone, I'm basically gonna keep track of what we call your ping, right? On the scale, how likely are you to be found by Anne? The system mechanically works very similar, where, I'm comparing the signal strength in the zone to the damping of your suit. And so long as you're, at or above that, you're good to go. There will be certain things, though, that you can do to increase your ping. If, and any disturbances you cause, any great calamities, knocking down a building or killing users or anything like that, can potentially increase your ping in that zone. So while there's no longer that immediate threat of you becoming a user, at the same time, it's allowing it to track you, or have the potential to track you. So it's all about kind of staying as low key as you can. So with that being said, now we head into the woods. So it's a pretty almost immediate run for change from where you are, right? Ingram was built on coal mines, and so it's all kind of scraped away. There's a little bit of growth here and there, but it's mostly scrub. And then almost immediately there's like just towering trees, thick bushes, everything running through. So it does do a really good job of kind of slowing you down a little bit, because you have to worry about, running into trees and falling off small cliffs and things like that. So is there why don't you tell me kind of how you guys deal with these situations and how you plan on making your way through this area?
Can I pull up the old route?
You can,
since
indeed.
We've run through here before.
Yeah, we've been there before, right?
So he'll pull up the old route, right? And not that it's the same necessarily, right? Because things could have changed. And as he's like pulling it up, he's like, "Hey, those the porcupine things, those big things, they were in here before. Remember?"
They were a bit distracted last time, so we scooted around them, I think. So,
well, hopefully they don't catch it. You don't think Anne can take control of those, do you? That'd be bad. That'd probably be bad.
Smokey's a bit distracted, right? He's got shit going through his mind right now. He's trying to think of what the hell he's going to do. But yeah, he won't be completely dismissive to Huxley, right? But he'd be like, no, yeah, it's fine. I'm sure it's all right. Like, he's not trying to be completely like smacking him down or whatever, but he's trying to be, he is a bit distracted in his own head at the moment, but he tells Huxley, no, I think we'll be fine. Let's just be a bit careful. Cause I think last time we went through, weren't they distracted because they were distracted with each other, right? Wasn't that it
was mating season.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, hopefully it's still that season.
Maybe they'll be babies.
That's not necessarily a good thing. That just means there's more of them now. Huxley, come on. And then,
they're probably cute though.
Then Smokey has the birds and the bees talk with Huxley while we're walking. Yeah, but yeah,
I don't know. His mom is a doctor. That's
oh yeah, right. Yeah, he knows it clinically, right? He knows all of the
exactly.
Medical. Yeah, so I'll just say, yeah, I think we're all right. Just keep an eye out. But yeah, Smokey will be, he will be in his own head, as they say over here, that he's like, what the fuck am I gonna do? So he'll kind of be plodding along in his own thoughts.
Nice.
Whether that's a plus or a minus to whatever I have to roll.
Right, yep. So does that mean that Huxley's going to be taking the lead through here, or does one of the other ones want to kind of?
I would have probably be me.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Yeah,
with maybe some.
Yeah, because I actually, because I remember vaguely before I was the one that actually knew about those porcupine things or whatever.
Right. Yep.
So I should be able to maneuver, ways around, be able to look on the ground and be like, okay, well, this is, either this is the spot that they would have come through or not, that kind of thing, be able to track and see if there's anything else around, that kind of thing.
So Huxley's driving Zuchy's driving, but Huxley's navigating, right? Because if he's got right.
Mm-hmm. Well, but we all have the cube, right? I mean, so I could be like,
you do, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Zuchy, here's the map, and swipe it over or whatever, and make sure that you've got the map, like the most updated map or whatever.
Or if there's a time where all of a sudden I'm like, oh, we have to go a little off course, then Huxley could be like, okay, well, we can go this way to get back on it and stuff like that. So
yeah,
right, yeah.
And then I guess I mean, if you allow, then I would just be using Scout then to just like keep an eye out, make sure there's no porcupine monsters, just to look, you know, to make sure that, you know, I mean, Zuchy's in front, so like he's going to call out anything that's jacked up in front of us, but just kind of like keep an eye out for, you know, anything that maybe would be coming around, or, you know, something doesn't look right, or even to find a place where we could hole up to, you know, either transfer power or, you know, check on Brock, or, you know, some sort of safe space where we can like catch our breath and like, hey, what are we doing?
Right. True. Yeah. So what we'll do is, so this sounds like a good support role that Huxley is taking up right now. So with support, basically you're going to roll. So you don't actually roll for it. Okay. You're just basically adding, you're adding your expertise to Zuchy's role.
+2, baby.
There you go. So Zuchy, so you're kind of, as you're going through, kind of looking around for more signs and all that kind of stuff, just to make sure that you're kind of on the right track and staying clear of stuff.
For sure.
All right. Sounds good. So you're going to already have the +2 from Hux. Why don't you go ahead, and do you have anything that you can use to bring this DL down? So it's starting. So I'll tell you, it's starting at 7. Okay. Hux's Scout is going to bring it down to 5.
To a 5, yeah.
You have survival, don't you?
I do. I have like survivor. You know, my edge is making sure others survive, so that could be part of it. Because again, I'm basically watching out for anything that will, you know, really, you know, they can run into, or we can run into, that would, you know, hurt us, or, you know, kill us or whatever.
All right, I'm down with that. So what are those? So what does that bring you down to then?
My survivor would bring it down 3, so that would make it a 2 then.
Oh, nice. There you go. Yeah. All right, go ahead and give me that. And this is gonna be, let's go with a focus roll then.
Focus. Okay.
This sounds like kind of you're more so trying to pay attention than anything else.
Yeah. So that is a 3, 4, and 5.
Oh, nice. So 5 is actually going to be a success with an edge. So as you guys are going through, you know, you make you're able to kind of make your way steadily through the woods, using game trails, using any openings, using the previous route that Huxley's kind of guiding Zuchy through. And what else do you got?
We find a baby porcupine monster and we keep it, and it becomes our pet.
That won't go wrong at all. Let's say that our drain isn't affected as much because of how well we maneuver through.
There we go. So yeah, we'll say that you're kind of you're using the momentum more. So we can even say that it's like a lot of downhill running. So you're able to kind of use that to your advantage. So it's gonna save each of you 1 power in this area. So we'll say for this zone, you get to decrease your drain by 1 for each cycle. And the one thing is, let's check where you guys are at actually. So I have the Medicus right now at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drain, right?
I don't know. Maybe. We haven't done any suit stuff since most of the big mechanical changes and stuff have come up. So
I'll
I
tell
really
you,
have
you're
no
at
idea.
8 drain then, because
Okay.
I mathed you.
I'll believe you.
And the one thing, I put this in the wrong spot. And then you are actually at 2. So 4 speed. There we go. So how much power do you know how much power each of you had going into
pretty
9,
sure
5,
that
and 5,
Zuchy,
right?
yeah, Zuchy had 9, and then Smokey and I each had 5. If my note is correct.
5. Yeah. So yeah, this is gonna okay, I gotcha.
That's not good.
Gonna make this
He's
good.
stumbling.
Well, so we have the battery. I mean, Huxley's concern is to get to a place where we can stop and charge.
Correct. Yeah.
So
so say as you are going through the woods, right? You begin to see the canopy starting to thin out a little bit, right? Like as I said, this is giant thick oak trees, huge pines. So we're talking about a relatively thick canopy up top. But you begin to see kind of the glints of sun that are coming through. And you can kind of soon realize that there was a big camping area, and then the parking lot and everything like that. And this whole kind of area was nestled right up next to that big mega mall, right? In your previous run, you literally came out of the woods into the parking lot, the massive mile-long parking lot of the mega mall. So as you're going, you realize that you're almost there, right? And that is when Huxley and Smokey, you begin to feel your suits chugging on you. It's like your car when you try to hit the accelerator when it's on like the wisps of gas in your tank, how you just kind of feel that resistance as you try to go. That's what you're realizing, that you're having to actually move a lot more now.
Yeah.
And you're on empty at this point.
All right. So Huxley starts freaking out. Mr. Zuchy, you have to slow down. You have to stop. We're out of power. We have to stop. I've got to get at the battery.
Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. That's not the voice. All right. We're going to stop. All right. Okay. So what's going on here?
Stops right in the middle of the parking lot, right out in the middle of the open. And starts like pulling shit. He's like, I've got the power strip here somewhere. And pulls it out, slaps it down. Says, okay, we can all connect to this. And then let me set up the battery. And he starts futzing with the battery and hooking the battery up to the power strip. And then, start attaching. Come, Mr. Smokey, come here. And, hooks the cords up to you and then back to the power strip.
So Smokey will stop because obviously he's probably feeling it before Huxley felt it, right? If the suit started to drag, I'm assuming Smokey felt it first. And he'll stop and kind of shake his head, yes, and then so the thing that Brock's in, is it strapped to Smokey's back, right? It is,
yeah. It's basically taking up your cargo slot.
Okay. And is that something I can detach myself, or is that something other people have to do?
Yeah, you can detach it yourself, but you'll probably need help taking it off, right? Because you can't really like reach behind you to grab it.
So I just while Huxley comes over and starts, plugging in tubes and extension cords and stuff. I'll just say, help me get this off my back for a minute. Let's rest and get charged up. And I was gonna say Smokey was gonna, set Brock down and kind of sit on top of the container, but that would probably be a bit too over the top. So, he just kind of sets it down and just sits down on the ground and kind of leans up against it. And kind of closes his eyes and tilts his head back against it, and he's got some thinking to do, but while we're charging up, so he's still not going to say anything for the moment.
Is there any noise coming out of it? Like, is Brock like actively moving around? Like, I don't know that Huxley would clock it right away, but Zuchy might, because like I'm busy with stuff, right? So like,
right.
And Smokey, I'm assuming would, right? Because if there's any kind of movement or activity.
I don't know. I mean, because he hasn't really ever, and except for a couple of, actually, there's only been one time that you guys, outside of since you've grabbed him, that he's actually moved in any significant way, and that was when Zuchy was interacting with him. Outside of that, he's been pretty much still.
But he's,
and remember too that unit does have its own power. It's all self-contained. So
oh shit, when he comes bursting out, we can drain the power out of that thing too. Well, the only reason I asked is because he's awake, right? Like he's like, and is in control or whatever, right? Like colloquially, like based on like, not that Huxley knows any of that, but like just based on like the narration of last time, like he's activated. So I just didn't know if he was like struggling trying to get out kind of thing.
Nope.
Okay, that's fine. Continue.
Smokey really wishes he could have a smoke right now, but he's not taking his helmet off. But he's got some kind of nicotine gum he's chewing like crazy.
I guess we'll be okay for a little. I mean, we'll have to like keep an eye out, in case something or somebody comes up. But like, we're gonna have to try to drain this battery here if we can. I mean, we'll have to run at night. I don't know. How do you think my mom's doing? You don't think they arrested her, do you?
And then Smokey puts up his hand and goes, okay, question 1. How long do you think it's going to take to get us charged up so we can get to the bridge? Are we thinking an hour? Are we thinking 2 hours? Are we thinking overnight?
Huxley slowly turns and looks to the GM to see how long it's going to take to drain this battery.
It will probably take, it's got 40 power. You're transferring it to, you're transferring it to 3 people.
Are we doing, does Zuchy need it then too?
He's gonna.
Oh, he's gonna need it. Okay, I just didn't know. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So it will probably take you about a half hour or so to drain this battery. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. And
we're not talking
your
hours.
Run's probably going to take you another handful of hours.
Okay, that's fine.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just, so Smokey,
actually, you're only going to under the bridge, so it's probably only about 2 hours.
Okay. So he'll just tell Zuchy, keep an eye out, and when Huxley tells Smokey how long it's going to take, he'll kind of lift himself up from leaning on the Brock container and, just kind of start peering around and just say,
okay,
the Brock container, the Brock container. Yeah. So we're going to be here for about a half an hour or so. Let's just keep keep everybody's eyes peeled, and Smokey will just kind of look around, keep an eye on Zuchy. Just I'm assuming, excuse me, I'm assuming Huxley's checking readouts and things, and so that was point number one. Point number two is I'm sure Miss Joanna's fine. She can take care of herself. If I had to put a wager on who's going to come out on top, I'm sure Miss Joanna would be where I'd put my money on. So I'm sure she's all right.
Well, they better not do
and
anything.
If she's not, when we go back, she's going to take it out of our asses, or at least mine. So she'll have that driving her to the point. If she's in any kind of trouble, she'll be feeding off the fact that she's going to kick me around when I get back. So I'm sure she's quite all right.
Do you think we're going to be able to go back? I mean, if they want to arrest us, I don't think they want us. I mean, I guess they want us, but
well, we're going to go back, but let's make sure if we go back, we have something to either give or tell them that we can trade off. But yeah, we'll go back and we'll sort it. Don't worry. We'll get it figured out.
What do you think? Why did they want to arrest us? We didn't do any. Well, you blew up the bar, I guess, but I don't think anybody knew that.
Yeah, I don't think we're worried about bar stuff here. I think it's more places we've been hanging out recently. But as I said, either we'll use that to our advantage. Well, we'll use it to our advantage. So we'll go back. We'll get everything sorted. We'll sort it out. So if I need to make any kind of roll to, assuage Huxley, Smokey's quite happy to do that, but he's being very serious, right? Yeah. If we're going to go back, we have to go back, and Smokey will figure out a way to sort it. If it all comes tumbling down on him, that's fine. But, I think we've ventured around enough. We've learned, enough that we can get our ass out of, if we got to burn someone else, we'll do that. But yeah, we've got information, right? We said knowledge is power, knowledge is credits. We'll figure something out.
Okay, if you say so. Huxley trusts you, right? Like if you say we're going to go back, then we're going to go back. It might, I don't know when.
We're going to go back. What comes out of it, right, is another matter. But Smokey's like, yeah, we'll figure it out.
When Smokey says that, Zuchy looks at Smokey and tries to hide his face from Huxley and gives a face to Smokey like, oh, so we are going to go back, that kind of thing. Like he doesn't trust going back there at all.
And I'm trying to figure out if there's a look of Smokey telling Zuchy, look, you and I know what the deal is, right? Let's just, that knowing, Smokey's assuming, right, we're going to go back, or at least Smokey's going to go back. If everyone else doesn't want to, I'll leave it up to them to decide. But, Smokey plans to go back and, because that's where he's from, right? That's his home. I'm not going to not go back, and I'll take my licks whenever we get there. And if all the licks have to go on Smokey, then that's what he's going to do. But he kind of gives Zuchy that kind of knowing look, like, look, the kid's over there. Let's just get through this and we'll deal with it later. And that kind of knowing eye look and shake of the head kind of thing. I know Smokey's a talker, but the nonverbal stuff, I'm assuming he's pretty good at too. So.
All right. So while all this is going on, we're going to say this is, so we'll say this brief conversation is when Huxley's kind of trying to get everything set up. Right. So why don't you real quick give me, because we are dealing with kind of a very short timeline on this, give me a test to see. I want to see if you're able, or how quickly you're able to kind of get all the cables connected to the battery, get everything set up. Because you also, remember, have to. So I'm assuming you're kind of hooking yourself up to the battery and then hooking Zuchy and Smokey up to you. So you're kind of channeling everything through you. And no, what are we doing?
I have the power strip. Well, so it says
Yes.
the power strip is gear mounted in the torso.
Correct. Yeah.
So I guess they are all connected to me. I thought it was like literal power strip.
It is part of you. It's part of your suit that in theory would allow you to use your battery to charge other people. But in this instance, you're drawing power from the portable battery to charge yourself to then charge them, basically.
Gotcha. Okay. So then what he does is he'll pop the aux bots.
Mm-hmm.
So he, like he's getting all the wires connected and everything, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, hold on, boop," like hits the button and the little fucking phantasm balls come out, the little arms drop down out of the bottom with their little friggin' metallic fingers and whatever.
Nice.
And they start buzzing around them and like poking at shit and making sure stuff's connected and like shimmying stuff and whatever.
Sounds good. All right, so we are going to as with everything does, initially starts off at a 5. I am going to throw a little bit of a snag in here. Because you are trying to quickly attach, in essence, 3 different things together. I'm not gonna give you a full huge thing, but I'm gonna give you an extreme snag here. So it's gonna bump that from a 5 to a 7.
To a 7. Okay. So with the mechanics and the aux bots, that's gonna be so +2 for mechanics, +2 for the bots. So it's gonna lower me down to a 3.
Beautiful. There you go. All right, go ahead and give me a brains.
Ooh, a 4.
Oh, just barely. Look at that.
The other one was a 1 and a 2. Yikes. So like I start to connect like one wire up and the bot comes down and like pokes in my hand, like gives me like a little zap, and I'm like, what? And then I look and I'm like, oh no, that's the wrong spot. Like the polarity is wrong. And then I pull it out and I flip it around and I plug it back in the other way.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Well done. Well done. So yeah, you're able to kind of sit there and luckily you see the lights and all of the kind of everything on Smokey's suit start to like fade, and even you can see like Smokey, you see like your readout, like you've been blinking empty for like the past few minutes, and now all of a sudden everything starts to dim, and then Huxley just comes over and is like right into you with the power with the jack cable, and it's like and everything kind of slowly starts to flicker back in.
Your interior lights start to come back up again. You realize you kicked it with your knee. Like, why the fuck is it so dark in the car?
My dome light turns back on.
Right.
So what's Zuchy's max power? Because so if we drain the whole thing equally, it's 13.333333.
Right, yeah.
But depending on what Zuchy's max is, we might be able to transfer that carryover to Huxley and Smokey. I don't know if the battery, with the suit, all the suit stuff changing, I'm not sure what because my battery previously had been like 40 or 80 or some ridiculous number before the the switches.
Well, let's see. You're running the redox, which is a 33.
Okay.
And then I believe both Zuchy and Smokey are running the SSB, which is a 24.
24, yeah.
Okay, so nobody's going to be over then. All right, yeah, so we'll each get 13 in a little bit.
Yeah. And one thing to remember, too, I mean, so really depends on if you guys want to stick together or not, right? So I guess this is a conversation you guys have. Like, you can have, like planning, like how because you still have to get through the mall, right? And one thing is previously you guys have been able to get through that by going into the trans system underneath the mall. That kind of got blown out the last time you were down there.
Strangely enough.
So that's, and especially since you guys are on limited power, I don't know if you want to try to do that again or not. You will have to kind of try to dig that back out. So at that point, you can either try to go around the mall, you can try to go through the mall. But either way, you know that it's going to be about 6 blocks from where you are, 6 to 7, let's say 7 blocks from where you are to under the bridge. Which means for Smokey and the Boomer, that's going to be a little over 2 cycles. So that's going to be about 10 power for him. For the Medicus, you're going to be going at 3, 4. So you're actually the same speed, just about. So it's going to also be a couple of cycles for you. So you're going to be you're going to need at least 16 power. It's only going to be 1 cycle for Zuchy if he runs as fast as he can. So he technically, in Zuchy, you said Zuchy has 9 power right now. Technically, if Zuchy just ran and didn't come across anything else, you could make it to under the bridge by yourself.
See ya. No, I wouldn't do that.
If you slow down to their speed, though, you're going to need 18 power.
How does that work, though? How would he need 18 if he could make it on 9? Because he would technically be at...
Because his speed is 10. He'll literally have to half his speed to keep up with you, to slow himself down to you guys.
Gotcha. Well, so if he doesn't charge, that'll give me 16. But then that's like, then nothing can happen for us all to make it.
Correct.
And you would have to leave us.
Yeah, that would, Zuchy would never do that.
All right, so let's do it, character. I'm looking at the numbers, and Mr. Zuchy, if you just run, then you should be okay. But so then, like, I could use a little bit of the juice that we would have gave to you, because I would need the difference, and Mr. Smokey could probably make it. I don't know if there's anything I can turn off to like reduce the drain. Like he'll start going through his systems to see what's active and what I can just dump.
Yeah. Zuchy also has Streamlined, which can reduce his drain. So, where did it go? Yeah, reduce the drain of a piece of thruster gear by 1. This tweak can be taken multiple times, applying to a different piece of gear each time.
So yeah, that's something that you can do to your. So for instance, like your maneuver thrusters, you could apply it to that, and it would pump that drain. So they have a drain of 1. It would basically make it so that your maneuver thrusters don't drain anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps you, but that doesn't necessarily help them.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't have to have as much power then if I use that, right?
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would mean that you would have, instead of having 9 drain right now, have 8 drain.
Okay.
And basically it would give you 1 extra. You'd actually have a reserve at that point.
Yeah, nice. Is there anything around here that we could look as a possibility for some extra power somewhere?
There is a mall right there.
Yeah.
Most runners and most people in general out in the Gap stay away from the mall because it is a high signal area. Now, again, that does mean something different now, right? Before, you guys didn't want to go into this area because it meant that you could potentially get taken over by Anne. Now it means you have more likelihood of being discovered.
Yeah.
So is there anything on my suit that I can turn off, like that isn't essential functioning? Right, because I'm not carrying a load other than the battery.
Correct.
So I don't have any.
You do have an assist program running.
Mm-hmm.
That you could turn off. That would kill 1 drain.
Okay.
You also, you do have your jammer. You have your spot jammer. That is 1 drain as well, but it would mean that you would be killing that damping.
What would that leave me at? Because the suit itself is at a -2.
That would leave you at 3. Actually, no, that would leave you at 1.
So do we know what I'm assuming this area is higher than a.
It is a high damping. It is a high signal area. I believe it was an 8.
Okay.
So you guys are going through the mall. You already have a decent likelihood of gaining some attention.
Right. Well, definitely kill the program.
Yep. So that would bring you down to 7.
I was looking for the suit in the Google Drive, and I didn't see it. So I don't know what else is on there.
The numbers are all kind of wacky anyway on that. So.
Okay.
So yeah, you have, outside exterior stuff outside of your vital equipment. And even then, the jammer is technically vital equipment. So you would have to hack your suit in order to make it run without that. Because the suits, as they are, have safeguards in place. So they will not run without certain things.
Right.
And the jammer is one of them. So outside of that, the only thing that you have is your nanoplating, your SAT, your SAT cap, and then you have your radio, but that's 0 drain. You have your proximity sensor, which is 1 drain, and then your monotube actuators, which is 1 drain.
What's the proximity?
But that gives you speed.
Yeah, I need that. What does a proximity sensor do?
That basically just that is what allows you to kind of, it's like radar basically around you within a short range.
I'll kill that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that brings you down to 6. So then you technically only need 12.
Okay, that puts me under what I could potentially get out of the battery if we all split it.
Yeah.
Which should get us there.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory.
Yep.
Famous last words.
I know when we were chatting before and we updated the sheets and we were picking all the different things. Did we send those to you? Because I can't find mine anywhere.
I think Jesse updated our suits after the last
But even just the character sheets also, because for some reason I can't find any of my like specializations and stuff. So I don't know if I'm losing
really?
my marbles or yeah. So I don't know if I sent.
Oh no,
back
with
to
that,
you.
you guys just sent me like actually, yeah, that's a good point. I thought you might. I was looking for those like last week, and I thought you sent them in Discord.
Okay. I'm
and
gonna
I
have to
couldn't
go through
find 'em
because I
either.
literally can't find it. You know, because when John was talking about like the different specializations, I just want to make
Yeah.
sure I wasn't losing my mind. But it's somewhere. I'll just find it. Okay.
That's fine.
So then he's
Yeah.
like,
So
"All right."
so if all goes according to plan,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So I turned off, some of the stuff. So I think we could probably, I think we'll be okay. So if we all split it, then we should be fine. I think. I mean, Mr. Zuchy, you should probably run out ahead of us a little bit. Because if you're with us, then I don't think you're going to make it. I mean, I guess I could carry you, but that's kind of weird. I don't know. I mean, because then if something happens, then you can't do anything because your suit won't have any power.
I had a dream about that once that you were carrying me through a field and never mind.
Those are only my
yeah.
footprints.
yes. I was walking through is that how? No, never mind. Anyway, yeah, I can always run out. I can always run scout just to make sure that everything's good here.
Yeah, get a little bit ahead, but make sure you stay in contact, and we keep updating everybody back and forth.
Do you think we should go through the mall? I mean, I know we didn't last time, but Mr. Smokey, you blew up the shortcut. So, I mean, I don't know if we want to spend the time to try to dig it out. Because to go around, I think it would add a bunch of extra time, right? I mean, because we'd have to go all the way around.
Yeah, I think it's a necessary evil to go through.
Yeah. What's going to save us the most, right? I think that's kind of what we're looking
time
at.
is not on our side right now.
I mean, maybe we'll run into a power source. I mean, the signal is really high here. So, I mean, I don't imagine a lot of people come here. I mean, a lot of people don't go anywhere because, they can't. I mean, so like it's just us and like some other people. But I mean, maybe there's something that somebody missed. I mean, we might be able to get a little bit more power. I mean, I wouldn't do it here, I guess, necessarily because the signal's so high. But if we could grab something and go, then we could always do it later.
Yep, exactly. Maybe we'll find another battery. Who knows?
Oh, that'd be great. if we each had a battery, how cool would that be?
That would be pretty sweet.
Then we could just hot swap them out. I mean, I could do it.
Of course you could.
Just keep our eyes peeled, see if we find anything that can help us. But yeah, I think the most direct route is probably going to be the way we're going to have to go.
I mean, we shouldn't like look for salvage necessarily, but like if we could bring something like as trade, right? Because we don't like, I mean, we were there before and it was fine, but like if we could bring something that might be, it's like information, right, Mr. Smokey? If we come with something to trade, then maybe they won't be mad if we show up.
Yeah, just as long as it doesn't slow us down and doesn't take us out of the way, I agree. Just keep look around, but don't spend too much energy because the key thing is just to get there, and we'll deal with sweet talking them when we get there.
Okay.
All right. So after a little bit more, probably only about 5 or so more minutes, Huxley, you notice that you are no longer gaining charge from the portable battery.
Oh, I think we did it. That's it. Come here a little bit. No, you're fine. Just stay there. And he'll go over and, start unplugging all the things. The bots zoom down like in front of your face and like scan around.
So what did everybody end up with for power, Huxley? You were in charge of redistributing. So
yeah. So if Zuchy charged with us, so if we were at 0 from 5 to 0, then Zuchy would have been at 4. So he'll be at 17.33. I'll be at 13.33, and so will Smokey.
So you did just a straight up even distribution between all of you?
Yeah, because like, after the conversation, right? Like, so she's not just gonna like bail and be 2 hours ahead of us, right? Like, that's fine for us, I guess, right? Because at least the two of us are together, but like super bad for him if something happens.
All right. All right. So yeah, you guys are all charged up. You pack everything up, and now you have the mall in between you and under the bridge.
It's like a
How do you
Romero
approach
movie
it?
where all the users are just like bouncing into the friggin' walls and trying to ride it later.
It's a combination of oh god, what's that video game? Left 4 Dead. It's a combination of Left 4 Dead and then the Red Hot Chili Peppers Californication.
It's like day after Thanksgiving shopping.
Right? So yeah, as a refresh, you have the massive mega mall in front of you. This thing was, couple miles wide, several miles long, 7 stories tall. At this point, windows blown out, the trees, that had, the planted shrubberies inside had all overgrown and seeded and sprouted. So the whole thing has, even you can see that, a couple of places is partially collapsed. But as far as at least there's no like scavengers or runners or anything. People try to avoid this area. Which is also, one of the reasons why runs to Green Hills initially were so rare, at least from Ingram. And when they sent the newbies out for it. So yeah, you have a few different options of how you want to approach this. So, and I'm assuming you kind of, like in the last few minutes when you realize that, the batteries were about to drain, you were about to go out. This is probably a conversation that you guys could have. So how do you want to go about it?
I mean, we should just run right through, right? I mean, we'll just stay on the one floor and just go straight, right?
Most direct route, I think, is the way we need to go. No messing around.
We can. I mean, I get a picture of the map when we go through. If it looks like maybe there's something on the way that might be useful, hardware store or something like that. So like usually when you walk in the mall, right, there's one of the big, huge maps when you get 20 feet
right
into the first quarter. Like as we're running by, stop, get a picture, pull it up in the on the thing.
Yep.
And then kind of have a half eye on it while we're running. I don't know how again how easy that is, right? Like kind of like running while you're looking at your watch, you're looking and doing one of those.
Yep. Yeah, all right. So you guys just want to go like through the front door and try to make your way as beelined as you can from one end to the other.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, you do just that. When you approach the mall, it's giant, it's lavish. This obviously wasn't a place for just rich people, right? It's a mall. But we're still talking about a giant 8-foot, double sliding door that has now been knocked off the hinges and, plexiglass laying on the ground and everything. So getting into the mall is easy enough. Even looking in, it's dim, right? Obviously, there's no lights inside, but skylights that had now mostly fallen apart, still letting sunlight through. So you have, scattered in dim light all throughout the inside of the mall. Most of it, especially down on the bottom floors, cast in shadow because you are talking about 7 stories up. But at least you're not running in, pitch dark with nothing but your headlamps in front of you. We're not turning this into a Cthulhu liminal space adventure. So
We could.
we could, very true. Everybody roll on the shock table. So yeah, you and as you say, when you come in, there's a now defunct and desiccated fountain, that giant open courtyard that as you walk in, and sure enough, there's one of those large directory screens in front of you. The words painted on top that have faded away say directory mega mall right on top of it. However, the screen, obviously there's no power in the mall, so the screen does not work.
Oh shit! It's not like a regular, like, not painted map, but like printed.
Now, when was the last time you were in a mall, John? They don't use those anymore, let alone 150 years from now.
50
Our-
some odd years old.
Ours still does. Ours is still a
now,
paper
if
one.
you want, you could use you could give the map a little bit of a surge. Wink, wink, mechanic talk.
No.
It wouldn't necessarily use your power. You'd be rolling you'd have a 5 out of 6 chance of not using any of your power.
No, I think he just kind of like,
You prefer to run blind through the mall?
yeah. I don't know. What do you think, guys? I mean, I could put a little power in it, but I don't. Do you think it's gonna help?
I'm more worried about getting through here than getting something else.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go then. I guess just keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah. Be alert.
All right. So are we pretty much going by same marching order then? Was Zuchy taking the lead on that one?
Yeah, because we already talked about me going ahead, a decent amount ahead of people. So
yeah. So I'm assuming you are slowing yourself down. You're not just bursting through them all at this point.
Yeah, I'm not going full speed, but I'm definitely not going their speed.
Yeah. So you're going to go kind of just a little bit ahead to kind of scout out and lay the path ahead of time.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. All right. So in that case, as I said, Mega Mall, we're talking, several square miles of mall at this point. And it's not going to just be a straight shot through. It's not going to exactly be a maze, but there's going to be times where you run into a large court area and you have choices to make. Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I go straight? There might be times where you literally run into a T-junction. You're running and all of a sudden it's like, oh man, giant Best Buy is taking up this whole section. So we have to go left or right around it. So you're going to run into choices along the way. Man, it would have been helpful to have a map. So as you're going through, since Zuchy is kind of laying path ahead of time, why don't you go ahead and give me let me know how kind of if you're laying, if you're leaving any tracks or markings for the guys behind you, and kind of how you're making your way as best you can through the mall.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
Zuchy is leading the way. He's a little bit ahead of you guys, kind of scouting out the path and making and laying the trail ahead of you.
Gotcha.
But we're just figuring out kind of how he is doing that and what he's doing to make sure you guys also successfully make your way.
So our communicators or whatever, did Huxley turn his off? Like,
No, he doesn't.
like
He turned his sensors off, but he still has his comms.
Okay.
And
what
you
about, like,
guys
your-
all have radio communications.
Yeah.
So they're still good within a short range.
Okay.
Um,
I think what Zuchy would do is he would just say, like, as he's going, whenever something came up that he had to make a decision, he would be like, it would be like, oh, Sephora left. So that means it'd be like taking a left at that spot.
mhm.
Come to another thing, it would be like climbing wall right, that kind of thing. So like he would make it easy for them to be like, okay, you're coming up on this is where you're going from here.
Gotcha. So you're kind of calling out landmarks and directions as you go.
Yep.
Nice. I like it.
And they're not far enough behind to where I hopefully won't get too far ahead where they'd be like, okay, wait a minute, what was that one before this one, kind of thing.
Right. And what are Huxley and Smokey doing on your end? So Zuchy starts to run ahead and he starts kind of calling out, spots in the mall and what direction he's heading. What are you doing with that information?
If he's leaving marks and like giving us directions over the radio, just follow that as best as possible. I mean, again, I would be using, scout to see, make sure that the floor is stable, make sure that nothing's like, creeping up, to try to grab us or whatever, and just like trying to be hyper vigilant, I guess.
Yeah. All right.
Following the breadcrumbs.
Yep, there we go. All right, so Zuchy, why don't you go ahead and let's see how well you manage to navigate this and exactly how clear you are and how well you do at providing direction. So we're going to give this as another focus test.
Okay.
This is kind of you staying on target, navigating your way through.
Okay.
I am going to give you a snag in this because you are dealing with a cluster of a mall, right? You're dealing with unfamiliar territory and, trying to call out locations as quickly as possible without actually slowing yourself down as well. So that is going to boost it from a 5 to a 6.
Okay. I don't think I have anything that would really help me in this situation, really. Let's see what we got.
You do have Survivor.
Yeah. I suppose that would still help, I guess. It's kind of what I did before as far as trying to scout ahead or whatever for them and stuff
right.
like that. So, okay.
And I mean, yeah, you were used to like running around the knoll finding your way through. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
it's reaching back into your past, but absolutely, I think it might be.
Okay,
yeah,
sounds good. So that makes it a 3. So that is a 4.
Oh, okay, very good. So yeah, you are doing a good job of making it through. Keeping a steady enough pace that you're not getting too far ahead of them. So yeah, you're laying track well enough. Hux or Smokey, so actually, Huxley, you said that you're kind of the one taking the relay on the information and making sure that you're staying on, well enough behind Zuchy, staying on target, right?
Oh, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, sure.
You called it out. You said, I'm using my scout to survey around and do all the stuff.
Yeah. Sure.
All right. So you will not get an edge from Zuchy, because he's doing his best just to keep you guys on track, while also making sure that he is safe and on track himself. So why don't you go ahead, give me a test? I am gonna throw you a snag because you turned off your sensors. So it is gonna boost you up from a 5 to a 6 as well.
Okay. Well, I rolled a 6 and my scout is 2, so that's an 8.
All right. Technically, it goes the other way. It bumps it down to a 4, and you roll a 6. So
okay. Yeah. Right. Yours is subtractive. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Which actually is a success with an edge.
Can the edge be that we don't lose time? I guess, right? Like we're as efficient as we can be moving through an abandoned, half collapsed, unpopulated, unmaintained building, right? Like,
yep. As much as you can be, your speed is unblemished. Nice. Coming through. All right. Smokey, why don't you go ahead and give me a presence test?
Okay.
I am going to give you an edge on this. So it is dropping it from a 5 to a 4. And let me see. I cannot remember. What tweak did you take?
I thought it was let me pull up the sheet again. It was Hex, wasn't it?
You took Hex as your specialization. I can't remember what. Yeah, I can't remember what tweak you took in that though.
Hold on, let me pull up the doc again because I literally just closed it. Documents. Was it the nano? Give me 1 minute.
Did you take the swarm?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay. Hex. Yeah, it was the nano swarm.
Okay, sounds good.
So that's a +1 then, right?
Correct.
For presence, for awareness or observation, and that's a +1 on the number, not the die, right?
Correct. Yeah. So it was already a 5. I dropped it down to a 4 for you.
So it'll be a 3.
And this is going to drop it down to a 3.
Okay. And that's a 5.
Nice.
That's a yes. That's yep. So yeah, that's a success. I'm still in core mode sometimes, so I keep saying yes and. So that is a success, and you gain an edge.
Did you see my note?
I did.
No, I'm saying for Kevin.
So I will tell you, Kevin. that you're between your swarm and Brock. You get, and it's almost as if it's kind of in your brain, right? You get a shadow sense, almost like an ESP vision of a user presence in the mall, and they seem to be getting closer and more congested.
That means a lot of them then bunching up, right?
And making their way towards you. Almost as if they are tailing you.
Okay, so they're behind us.
Well, that's okay.
So I'll kind of shout that I think we've got to pick up the pace a bit. I think we've got some people trailing behind us, so we may want to get moving a bit.
Well, come on, let's go.
All right, and you still have an edge.
I mean, I think we can ignore the Radio Shack, right? We just want to get the hell out of here. I wouldn't think we would stop. I mean, can the edge be? I mean, Zuchy's up front, kind of trailblazing, right? Can he find a kind of more direct route? You know, he's up ahead and he kind of shouts back, "Yep, let's go this way," because this seems to be, more straightforward than kind of meandering around.
Absolutely. Remember, the edge can affect not just you, but pretty much anything else in the scenes. So yeah, absolutely.
Let's find a more direct route out of here, I think would be what he would be looking for.
Yeah, so we'll say, how about when Smokey calls us out, he's like, "Hey guys, we've got people around us. We might need to find a faster way out of here." And or at least a better way out. And Zuchy, you then see just like a glimpse out of the corner of your eye, a service entrance that it looks like it was not just like because obviously like a normal service entrance, you guys kind of wouldn't fit in. Like you're not huge, right? But your suits are bulky. So you wouldn't necessarily easily fit through a regular doorway. But this looks to be like a loading entrance where they would bring like equipment in and out or anything like that. So that could potentially be a more expedited path to the outside of the mall.
Yeah. And I think Zuchy would tell everybody that and just kind of direct them where it is. And just be like, I think we're going to take a chance and go through here. I think it'll be a lot quicker.
Okay, just kick the door open so we can find it.
I can do that.
I mean, I don't mean kick the door.
Specialty.
I just mean make sure it's open. So yeah, it's fine.
You hear poosh over the comms.
Yeah. So desolate in the mall, you can hear doosh, doosh, doosh.
Yeah, you guys can actually hear it echo through the mall now. All right. So yeah, now once you do bust this door open, it is just a pitch black hallway. And I'm assuming you guys probably have I mean, we've already said you have like headlamps and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll say too, you almost have like the like some cars like have like the automated sensor of like, oh, it's dark in here, let me turn the headlights on. Like So like you get like 10 feet down the hallway and the lights just go boop, boop, boosh. And yeah, you're looking at
Is there anything?
So
is there
there's
anything in-
just it's almost from what you can see like this 10-foot by 10-foot corridor that goes almost in a straight shot down, and it goes beyond, we'll see your headlights are, headlights of cars are what, usually like 30 feet, something like that. So like it's going like beyond what your lights can see.
Yeah, just keep busting through.
All right.
I assume we
And so-
roll up and the door's hanging off the hinge, still swinging a little bit.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
In here, Mr. Smokey, it's in here.
Go that way.
All right. And yeah, as you guys start to, you turn down and you can actually see way down in the hallway, the flicker of the light as it kind of, you can see the edges of it as Zuchy is kind of rim lighted by by his headlamp. Yeah.
I pick up the door and like we go in, I just kind of like lean it, right? Like I can't reattach it necessarily, but like throw it, kind of like in, so it's covering the space.
True. Yeah. I don't know. Smokey does have a flamethrower.
I also don't want to be sealed in, but if it's more difficult for them to either see, find, or if they knock it over, we'll hear it, right? Potentially.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
I would think we're trying to get out, right? We don't want to make a stand. I mean, can we?
Nope.
Yeah. I think it's just a matter of, trying to get closer to, point B than point A.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
if we've got to stop and, fight back or whatever, but I think Smokey's just mostly thinking, let's just get the hell out of here as quick as we can. We don't want to get, because the longer we hang around here, the more power we're going to use, and that's not going to be good. So let's just try to keep moving.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm just going to lean it here. I'm not doing anything. Just go. I'm coming.
Don't take too long.
Yeah, he literally just grabs it and just pulls
Drops
it
it.
behind us.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I mean, any kind of barrier is going to slow them down, right? Because I'm assuming they're not
To some degree or another, right?
if we're
Like,
getting into
Right.
fast zombies versus slow zombies, discussions. But any kind of barrier is going to slow them down a bit. So every
Mhm.
little bit helps, as long as we're not taking a whole bunch of time to set anything up.
All right. So yeah, you guys, it takes you probably about a couple of minutes to make it through this corridor, and soon enough, Zuchy, you see at the edge of your headlamps, the door to the other side.
Looks like there's a door to the outside, fellas.
Yep. And it looks like
Run.
it looks like a giant kind of, so this part opens up a little bit, looks like almost like a hangar bay, like a staging room where it's 15 foot ceiling, about 30 feet wide, and it's one of those giant steel roll doors.
Okay. Yeah. So he obviously, once he gets to it, he would just see if he could get it open on his own, make sure see if it's unlocked or whatever.
There you go. Yeah, so it doesn't look like it has a lock to it. It was at one point a powered door. But if you want to kind of brute force it open and just kind of like lift it up and see if you can get it up that way, then yeah, you can absolutely try to do that.
Yeah. I
So is there like
to use any of our juice to get it open, right?
yeah.
Conserve as much energy as we can.
Is there like a button for it or anything like that, or to see?
Yeah, there's
obviously,
absolutely,
it might-
there's that, over on the side, the control panel that basically just says open, close, and emergency.
Yeah.
So that does exist.
Okay. Well, I'll try to push it just to see if it has any power left, just for
That
shits
makes
and giggles.
just for shits and giggles. Yep. Yeah, it does not.
Okay, of course. Okay. All right. Yeah. So he'll try to use some brute force to get it as open as he can.
Sounds good. All right. Yeah, go ahead and give me a might check.
Okay.
And again, if you have anything on you that you think might help, let me know.
Would his martial arts work in this instance? Like a leverage kind of thing, or like
not especially. This is like, just straight up lifting. So
Yeah. I don't really have anything, I guess, that would go with that. I guess I don't know.
you have athletics still or no?
Not really. So I basically just put my expertise as protector and survivor. I didn't really put anything else into anything because I didn't know if that's what we were going for anymore. So maybe I should have, I guess.
No, and it's fine. You had athletics before all the rebuild stuff, so I didn't know.
Yeah. I just kind of got rid of it, unfortunately. But maybe I take a look at, I don't know, redoing it, or I don't know. Well, I can't really redo it now, I suppose.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to, you could always tap a driver. And if you wanted to tap your edge driver, then you could add it. You could kind of increase that. And then it means that you could also then create athletic or whatever you want afterwards.
Yeah.
Tap that driver.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So this is going to allow you to gain an edge in the scene. Basically creating an edge during it.
Okay.
So what would you like that to be?
You find like a crowbar or like the tool, right? So like when the power's down, there's like a fucking range, like there's like a manual way to open up the door.
Like
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, or it could be like it's like on a spool, on a chain spool or whatever, and I could just use that to, manually get that up instead.
There we go. Yeah. So let's see. So that's gonna. So you're rolling at a 4 right against a 4 right now. So
okay.
So go ahead.
Okay.
4 with your mic.
Nice. That is a 6.
Nice. Success with an edge. So yeah, you're able to use that chain to. It's rusty. It's gross. But a couple of quick pulls kind of breaks the rust off the gears, literally. And you're able to get it open kind of just in time for Huxley and Smokey coming up behind you.
Okay. Yeah, and I think because there's probably not a manual stop to it at that point, he'd probably just hold it at a point where he knows that they could get through, but also a little higher too, to where he can like get himself through before the thing starts coming down again.
That is a really good idea. Nice. And at that point too, as you kind of hold it open and you begin to make your way through, you look down the hallway and you can see just the faintest glow of probably between 3 to 6 little blue lights.
Yep. And that, so he'll get through to the other side of the doors as they're going, and then he'll just kind of, maybe because it's probably segmented a little bit, he'll probably take his hand and just try to give it a little bit of a shove to get it to close quicker than it actually is.
Nice. All right. And let's see. Let's have Smokey go ahead and give me a focus test. Or no, actually a presence test.
Six.
All
Straight
right. Yep. So as you're Huxley busted out, Smokey busts out, Zuchy slams the gate behind him. You guys hear the slam. You turn around and you now see it's harder in the daylight, right? But it's also kind of, we're getting a little bit of sunset right now, right? So you're kind of looking into the sun. It's casting from behind them all on you. And you see the flicker of probably about a dozen little blue lights starting to poke out through the glass on the side, followed by probably about 24 at least people, but their heads kind of bobbing, arms just kind of flailing by the side, feet almost dragging as they walk, almost as if there's something inside them just pushing them through. And you just see them come to the edge of the mall, because it's all just glass. At one point, it was all just glass wall all around here. Now all the glass is broken, either tried to be recycled or just over time shattered. And you just see all these people walk up to the edge of the mall and then just keep walking. And they all just start cascading off the side of the mall. Just 2, 3, 4 at a time. Falling anywhere. And they're all over different floors. Anywhere from 30 to 70 feet up. Just over the edge and just onto the pavement, maybe 100 feet away from you.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah, but they're not coming
But
at
one
us.
thing you do notice is that the blue lights stop at the edge.
Blue lights stop at the edge.
So the users who are connected that she controls are smart enough, so to speak, not to sacrifice themselves for the disconnected, but whatever they are.
Yeah.
Mm.
If they're not coming at us, then that's a good thing. It's just terrible, but it's good for us. So let's just let's get the hell out of here before they wise up and all the lemmings start coming at us.
I mean, they have to be like, they're not, we should go, right? I don't want to.
Yes, let's go. And Smokey's waving his arms.
Huxley almost can't pull his eyes away at that point. And as Smokey's like, okay, before they start rising up. And I can only don't let me put thoughts into your head, obviously. But Huxley being very scientifically, you're trained in the medical field, right? You just saw somebody fall 40 feet. Like, they're dead. Like, there's no, and then all of a sudden, like, you just see one arm just like up and like try to start propping itself up onto the ground and slowly trying to start dragging itself towards you.
Is that a psyche check?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So is that going to be It's not presence.
You know what?
Right?
So that's probably going to be
Focus?
brains.
Brains.
Focus.
All
Yeah,
right.
let's do focus. We'll do focus. I'm going to play on you. I'm going to play on you a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to bump that up to a 6 because Huxley is innocent.
Yeah. Dig it. Does that mean I can like tap that thing then, since you're hitting it?
If you want to, yeah.
Yeah, why not? That'll take me an XP. All right, here we go. Highest is a 5.
Oh,
You want me to pull up the table?
You
want me to pull up the table?
Oh yeah, sure.
It's give me 1 second.
We're mixing systems, guys.
I should know it because I used it the other day, but I don't because I'm a terrible person. What fucking page is that on?
What'd you end up rolling?
So I rolled a 5, so it was a yes, but, or a yes with
but yeah.
No. It was a no,
Failure
but, no,
with
but, because I needed to hit a 6.
Yeah. Failure with an edge.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. That's not, what is that? It's page 12 is not. Oh, here we go. All right. Let's see. So roll on the shock table. That's a 9. So lashing out, if we want to, we were talking about changing, that's a lashing out at the nearest threat.
Oh no. Does Huxley still have the rifle?
No, they sold the rifle, but he has his pistol.
You have a pistol.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, I think like he's kind of like over his shoulder looking, and then the thing, starts to like get itself up and like start to move. And of course, not making any noise or anything, which is really weird and disconcerting.
Mm-hmm.
And he just like starts to slow down, and then he stops, and he's like, "What? They can't. How can they can't. Why don't you just die?" And he like fumbling at his waist. Is like, "Bow, bow, bow, bow."
Hey, go ahead and give me an agility.
All right, I would love to do so.
Luckily, these things are actually really easy to hit. Surprise, surprise.
Mm.
So I mean, you only gotta do a 2.
They are prone though.
I
said they're prone though, right? I mean,
oh, true. Yeah, I don't really count that though.
All right, fair enough. So that's so it's a 0 because my shooting is 2. It's a 0.
Oh, so that's so you can't. So you literally can't miss then. So yeah.
So I got a 5.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you. So you just fire, and this thing's head just pops like a balloon at that point.
Yeah. It's not possible. They can't do that. Why are they doing it?
Yeah. And even we'll say like you let off a few shots and you were like dead aim on like all of them. You're like pop, pop, pop on all 3 of them.
Yeah. And I think he's just screaming, why?
So, I mean, Smokey's gonna, whip his head around to Huxley and just kind of shout, "Look, we gotta go! Stop shooting! We gotta go!" And trying to like, wrap his arms around him and at least put his arm on his gun arm and like knock it down, and just shout at him, "We gotta move! We've gotta go!"
And I like it's not that he doesn't hear you, right? Because you're on the radio, but like he's screaming, and when you come around and like push his hand down, like he jerks. Like he doesn't try to shoot you, but he's also surprised all of a sudden that someone is touching him.
I would expect.
And he's just like,
Smokey, why don't you go ahead and give me a presence test to see if you can kind of settle Huxley down enough. So that's going to be against a 5. We'll say it's going to be a 4 because you did roll well enough on that. You got the failure with an edge.
Mhm.
So we'll say it's going to be a 4.
Okay.
And then, do you have anything that you could use to drop that down?
He's got talker.
Talker, right? Yeah, exactly.
Talker.
That would be a 2.
That'll do it. Yeah.
And that is a 4.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So that's gonna be an extreme edge. So yeah, I think you're able. First off, you are able to kind of snap him back to reality, to the point where he doesn't shoot you.
Yeah, exactly. And just say, look, we've got to go. I know this is weird. I know that you aren't happy, but we've got to go. When Smokey's kind of like pushing him forward, making sure his gun arm is down at his side, and just kind of hoofing him forward.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. All right, yeah. Let's go. I shot those guys. Well, I mean, I don't know if they fell out of the wood. It's fine. I don't know. Let's go. Like he's just.
We can talk about it later. Let's just get out of here, and we can discuss the scientific findings that you saw there. But let's just get going.
Yeah, I think like you're pushing me as we're running, and he's just got like the pistol out, so like he's running with the gun out in his hand now.
Down the hallway. Let's get going.
All right. So yeah, you guys are now, in the parking lot. You're kind of a little bit around the corner of where, the exact opposite of the mall would be. But in general, you're in the right orientation, at least. You're in the parking lot, so it's not too hard to find yourself where you need to be. You're able to kind of run up and around the corner a little bit. You can see the entrance to the tram, where you had initially popped out from your last run. And we head due east northeast from here, and you'll be able to make your way relatively close to under the bridge. At this point, all the buildings around this area are kind of slightly smaller, chunkier retail buildings. But they soon start to pop up into like apartments and condos and everything, and then transition into larger apartments and office buildings and everything like that as well. Go ahead and just give me just a nice quick focus, just to see we can make sure that you can get from A to B in the last couple remaining blocks that you have.
All of us?
Whoever's taking the lead, and then if you have kind of anything
Zuchy's and Zuchy
that you want to add, go ahead.
Yeah, I still think we'd use Survivor for that, just because, again, we're just trying to get through it all.
Yep. And I'm even gonna it's a shorter distance, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop that down to a 4. So
okay, so that would basically just make it a 1 then.
Oh,
with
all right.
Survivor.
Don't roll a 0.
I did
it. So yeah, you're with the route that you previously took. There are a couple of additional collapsed buildings, but they don't really affect your route too much. And then you do come up to that one, big collapsed, sunken in area that you had hit before. And you're like, oh, and especially the Huxley, Smokey's like, I know where to go. Like, you had cut through that parking lot area between the two buildings into the alleyway. And that's going to be the entrance to under the bridge. And And does anybody recall kind of what the encounter and procedure was like last time?
I know they had somebody in a building across like the street, and then they had like sort of a kill box set up.
Yep.
And then the door was kind of like down, like big metal door that we went through and all.
Yep.
I mean, Huxley wouldn't be
That
thinking
was pretty
about
much
it
exactly
at all,
it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, you guys kind of make your way through that parking lot structure. And then you can see 10 yards ahead that nice little kill box that they had set up. And so you know to probably expect somebody right there.
I don't think Huxley does, and he probably still has the gun out. Just
Okay.
FYI.
Yep.
Put the gun away.
Yeah.
But what if those things?
friendly,
What if the things come out?
I think we're safe enough now, and if they come out, then we've got some backup to help us. So I think you can put the gun away.
So like he stops, turns around, looks. He's got like, not like, friggin' James Bond, like both hands on the pistol, but like he's like, are you sure? Are you sure? Just kind of like looking around.
Absolutely, put the gun away. He's just being very straightforward. Yeah, put the gun away.
All right. They'll holster it and then kind of like sidle next to Mr. Smokey.
All right. And I'll say too, at this point, you guys are running relatively low on power. I think each of you maybe has 1 or 2 in reserve at this point.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you holster the weapons, you begin to walk up. And remember last time it was actually Dog who was in the opposite side with the sniper rifle waiting for you. And so you walk up, and there is now they have like a yellow painted line on the ground with kind of like hatch marks as well, almost like a do not park area, like a nice big 3-foot long wide section right in that spot. And as you approach that, you hear over the loudspeaker, "Halt, show your ID, and prepare to be registered by the organization."
What the hell does that mean? The organization, like our organization? They weren't here before. You don't think they're looking for us, do you?
I don't think we have a choice. We've got to register, or we've got to run back out. I don't know how far we're going to get.
We don't have enough power, Mr. Smokey, and we're gonna have to go in. I mean, they can't talk to them, right? I mean,
why don't you two start going ahead, and see what they start to do. So I'm assuming we're right out at the entrance of where they had us before. I'll kind of push Zuchy and Huxley to go ahead a bit further.
Well, we're not supposed to move. We're supposed to halt right where we are, because if we go any further, they're gonna shoot us.
Okay, well let's halt right here. Help me get this container off my back. And then if they help Smokey get Brock, the container off his back, just set it down, and he'll kind of, stand and like kind of lean on it very nonchalantly and just say, well, I guess we got to register. So let's give them our names.
And as you're taking as you're taking Brock off your back and everything and settling down, waiting, the door across, so there's that giant steel wall settled in between the two buildings. The door, slides up and open, and out walks a runner in a suit. He has a dark blue paint job with some kind of white hatchings on it. Kind of beat up, it's a runner suit, so it's kind of scuffed in areas. You do notice that he has a shiny new helmet. And you see a distinguishing mark on his left shoulder of LLI. And we'll go ahead and call it there.
Bastard. Okay.
Gotta leave him wanting more.
Mhm.
All right. Well, cool. Or not cool. I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. Should we shoot him, Mr. Smokey?
Well, no one else knows that I've got an time bomb on my back, so we've got a very big trump card that let us in, or I'm gonna pop the lid. And that's what Smokey's thinking. So we'll take it from there and see what happens next time.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I want to thank everybody for checking it out. As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we have our t-shirts for sale. You can check us out at tpublic.com/user/legends_of_tabletop. There's a link in the show notes. So if you want to check that out, we are offering We Resist and I Resist t-shirts with Progress, Pride, flag, trans flag, and rainbow flag. There's also banners as well. So if you want to support that, we're donating all proceeds now and forever from the store to I just had a brain fart to organizations in support of those causes. So please do that. We've got a Patreon up. If you want to throw a couple of bucks our way, that's also cool. Ratings and reviews on iTunes or whatever your podcatcher of choice is. Super cool. Probably helps, I guess. I don't know. Kurt, what do you got going on? What's happening over at the MFG cast?
Oh, we're releasing our RPG games. Our campaigns. We got the D&D campaigns, the Core Noir, still releasing those. Just released an episode talking about some of the games that Tracy and I recently played with some of our friends, including Finca, Sushi Go Party, John's favorite game. Really loud.
It's fine when you know which way you're passing.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Better to play in real life than it is on BJ. So check that out. We'll also be releasing a preview of Weird Draft Games' new game coming out for Backer Kit called oh shit, I just forgot. Something about Sloss. I forgot the full name. Oh my god. I'm gonna look it up quick. Give me 1 second. Oh, because I feel bad because I just did this and I remembered it and now I forgot it. It's called A Surplus of Sloss. So we'll be doing a something about that, and I might even talk about it a little bit on our TikTok account. So check out the MFG Cast on TikTok.
Cool. I was listening to the latest episode of Noir, and I miss George. Just sitting and listening through it, I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was a good story.
Yeah. All right. Well, we still got a bunch of episodes to go, so that's cool. Get to relive that. Maybe at some point in the future, I'll finish that journal. just like I'll finish Cthulhu.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody for checking it out, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.